The first thing I remember after waking up was the smell of antiseptic and the constant beep of monitors. My left side felt alien, as if it belonged to someone else. The doctors called it a stroke, and the words swirled in my mind with a terrifying clarity. I tried to speak, but only fragments of sound escaped my lips. The realization hit me harder than the stroke itself. I was vulnerable, fragile, and utterly dependent. My husband, Daniel, wasn't there. He had been scheduled to fly to the Maldives for a photography assignment weeks ago, and he had left that morning, promising he'd check in every hour. But with the stroke, everything changed. I was alone, my body rebelling, my mind racing through 1,000 what-ifs. In the dim hospital room, I found myself staring at the ceiling, thinking about mortality in a way I never had before. Thoughts of legacy, of unfinished business, and of my loved ones occupied my mind. I realized I had never updated my will. Not because I didn't care, but because life had always seemed endless, predictable in its chaos. Pulling myself up as best I could, I asked the nurse for a pen and paper. Writing had always been my solace. And now, trembling, I began to rewrite my will. But as I wrote, the words on the page seemed too formal, too cold. I didn't want to just distribute possessions. I wanted to leave pieces of my heart behind, tokens of love that could inspire and comfort those I loved after I was gone. I wrote to my children, who were away at college. Remember to be kind, even when the world isn't. Success will never matter as much as love and empathy. Forgive quickly, embrace fully, and live without regret. I wrote to Daniel, my partner of 25 years. You've been my anchor, my light, my safe harbor. I may not always be able to say it aloud, but my gratitude for you is endless. Please continue to see the beauty in the world, even when I can't. I wrote to my best friend, who had been like a sister. Life will test you, and you will feel broken at times, but remember that your kindness is your power. Never underestimate it. Hours passed as I poured my soul onto paper. Each sentence was a balm for my fear, a reminder that love, expressed and documented, transcends the body. But as the room grew quiet, I felt a wave of guilt. Daniel was thousands of miles away, and I could only imagine him, camera in hand, capturing sunsets while I lay vulnerable, alone in a hospital bed. The next morning, the door opened, and in walked a nurse with a small envelope. "This came for you," she said. It was from Daniel, postmarked from the Maldives. Inside was a letter, written in his familiar, looping handwriting. "My love, I'm terrified that I can't be there. But I see you in every wave, in every golden sunrise. I know your spirit is stronger than this body. Fight, as only you can. I promise, when I return, I'll carry your hand through every sunrise." Tears blurred my vision. He had left, yes, but he hadn't abandoned me. His love was tangible even from a distance, a bridge across oceans. The letter gave me a strange sense of peace, a reminder that love is not measured by proximity but by the depth of the heart. A few days later, Daniel returned. I saw him walking into the hospital room, suitcase in hand, exhaustion etched on his face. But what struck me most was the look in his eyes, relief, love, and quiet reverence. He didn't rush me, didn't demand conversation. He simply held my hand, and that simple touch conveyed everything words ever could. Recovery was slow. Every step, every small movement was a triumph. I had moments of frustration, wondering why this had happened, why life had felt so cruel. But Daniel never wavered. He laughed with me at small victories, celebrated minor improvements, and reminded me constantly that life, fragile as it is meant to be cherished. One afternoon, as sunlight poured into my room, I looked at the will I had rewritten. Daniel was sitting beside me, reading quietly. I realized something profound. The will had become more than a legal document. It was a map of my values, a testament to the life I had lived, and a gift of guidance for those I loved. In a strange way, the stroke had given me clarity I had never known before. "Why did you leave for the Maldives?" I asked him gently, afraid of his answer. Daniel took my hand, squeezing it tightly. "Because you always encouraged me to chase my dreams, even when they took me away from you. But every moment away, I carried you in my heart. I couldn't help you physically, but I tried to help you spiritually. And I knew, somehow, you'd find your strength." I smiled through tears, feeling a weight lift off my chest. That was the lesson I had been subconsciously learning in the hospital. Love isn't about constant presence. It's about faith, trust, and the courage to let someone live their life while still holding you in their heart. Weeks later, I stood before my family in our backyard, the first time I had been able to walk without assistance. Sunlight danced across the grass, and the air smelled of spring. I shared my journey, the fear, the letters, the revelation that love, kindness, and selflessness create ripples far beyond what we can see. Daniel, standing beside me, whispered, "Your will wasn't just for them, it was for you, too. It reminded you of your strength, your heart, your capacity to love." And it was true. In rewriting my will, I hadn't just prepared for death, I had prepared for life, fully and intentionally. I realized that the stroke, terrifying as it was, had given me the gift of perspective, that every small act of kindness, every gesture of selflessness, and every message of love could transform lives. That evening, as we watched the sun set together, I thought about the journey ahead. Recovery would be long, and challenges were inevitable. But I had learned that hope is resilient, love is enduring, and the human spirit is remarkably strong. And in that moment, I felt a profound gratitude, for my husband, for my family, for the lessons life had handed me. My final thought before sleep claimed me was this: life is fragile, unpredictable, and sometimes painfully unfair. But love is eternal. And if we live each day with compassion, generosity, and courage, we leave behind a legacy that no illness, no distance, no misfortune can ever take away.